This is QTV News coming to you live from our studios on Kairaba Avenue. I am Jenna Bosonko. Thanks for joining us, and here are the main news headlines. The PRO of the Gambia Police Force has called on the public to be vigilant following an armed robbery at Fass Njagga Choi in the North Bank region, during which a police officer sustained gunshot wounds. The National Human Rights Commission has also condemned the Fass Njagga Choi armed robbery incident and called on government to adequately equip law enforcement officers. President Barrow presided over the swearing-in ceremony of the new Secretary of the Cabinet, the Auditor General, and the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Public Service on Tuesday. The Public Utility Regulatory Authority PURA convened a day forum on Tuesday with its regulated service providers to review critical issues relating to compliance and their impacts. In international news, Human Rights Watch has accused both UK and US of crimes against humanity for forced expulsion of the residents of the Chagos Archipelago over 50 years ago. Those were the main headlines, and now the news in detail. Do stay with us. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV News, and I am Jenna Bosonko. Now, following an armed robbery at Fass Njagga Choi in the North Bank region, during which a police officer sustained gunshot wounds, the PRO of the Gambia Police Force has called on the public to be vigilant and support investigators by sharing information regarding the incident. And Suman Isonyasi tells us more.
The incident is said to have occurred on Sunday, 12 February at around 4 a.m. The community of Fass, a populous settlement, was gripped with fear as armed men stormed the police checkpoint. They assaulted officers on duty and several civilians who have since been hospitalized. ASP Mohamed Dabo, Deputy Public Relations Officer of the Gambia Police Force, explains how the incident happened and what investigations have revealed so far.
Unidentified armed robbers came. Some of them were already in a vehicle, as reported, and shot at our PIU officer in his arm, wrist specifically, got him injured, and they were also able to do away with a loaded rifle. Plus, they also assaulted some civilians. We also succeeded in doing certain break-ins by nearby shops, a particular nearby shop around the PIU checkpoint, and do away with some safer.
The police officer who was shot on the arm, Corporal Lamin Jame, is hospitalized at the EFSTH, where he is said to be responding positively to treatment. In a show of solidarity and support, the IGP and other senior officers of the police on Tuesday visited him at the hospital. Deputy PRO Dabo says the police high command has, since the incident, deployed more men to the area.
Since the incident happened, the police high command was so very much concerned about the situation of the officers and also the residents of Fass Njagga Choi, who are equally affected by this unfortunate incident. We have deployed our officers at the border on patrols, and we have also taken some other security measures in ensuring that the people who are behind this attack are brought to book and held accountable adequately.
As investigations into the incident continue, ASP Dabo says some of the civilians that were assaulted by the armed robbers have shared some important information about the attack and their attackers.
Specifically, they were randomly asked out of their vehicles. We have read a report about 2 or 3 of them who were asked out from the commercial vehicle that they were in. Because these unidentified armed robbers come from basically nowhere with their gun, and they operate in such a way that you're not able to identify, in fact, to say how many of them, probably more than 10, probably more than 15, but there are many, as it is reported. And the vehicles that were plying the road at the time were all seized, and the people were asked out. we have received a report from a woman, received a report from a man.
Piero Dabo says the police will not relent in ensuring the protection of lives and property of the people of the country and calls on any member of the public with information regarding the incident to report to the nearest police station. Antoine Nyasi for KTV News.
Also, the National Human Rights Commission has also condemned the alleged shooting of a police officer by armed robbers at Fass Njagga Choi. The chairperson of the commission has urged the government to adequately equip law enforcement officers to effectively perform their duties. Mbye Choi has more.
An alleged shooting of a police officer by the armed robbers is a matter of concern for the state institution mandated to protect and promote human rights in the Gambia. Emmanuel Daniel Juve is the chairman of the National Human Rights Commission.
Yes, Mr. Choi, the National Human Rights Commission was very concerned over the weekend when we learned of the assault of a police officer at a checkpoint at Fass Njagga Choi. And not only the assault, but also even the shooting of this officer. And I think from the reports, the gun that he had also was taken from him by some bandits who went further to rob. We're still trying to find out more from the police. But we are very concerned because when we talk about rule of law, we're not just talking about the police adhering to rule of law and due process, but also the general public.
Fass Njagga Choi is in Lower Nyomi district of the North Bank region. The village is 2.5 kilometers away from Amdalai, one of the Gambia's borders with Senegal. Due to the porosity of the border between Senegal and the Gambia and the frequent crimes in this part of the country, residents have renewed calls for tighter border security for the safety of their lives and properties.
Occasionally you hear these incidents happening, and it's very, very worrying when you have people coming, immobilizing a police officer, taking the gun of police officers and running across the border. And I think also we should, as a police force, and I hope the IGP is liaising with his counterparts across the border in Senegal, and also the armed forces, because they do also have their own checkpoints in some of these areas. Because it is important that you cannot have a country vibrant and democratic without security. People must, and the other thing is this, we must have confidence in our police force. This will also stop us from taking the law into our own hands.
Over the years, there have been repeated armed robberies at Fass Njagga Choi. In a similar incident in 2017, a gang of armed robbers attacked the village, broke into shops and emptied safes, leaving with significant amounts of money. According to local sources, the police are not well enough equipped to respond to such organized crimes.
We believe that the police force of this country should be well equipped, they should be well trained, officers should be paid properly to be able to carry on their work. We have said that, and we will continue to say that to the government, that and this is it, without an efficient and an effective police force, then there will be a problem in the country. And especially people in these border towns. This is not the first time. There have been incidences around Farafenye where, armed robbers, and, you cannot really run a country without security, proper security in the country.
A law enforcement officer becoming the target of armed robbers in his line of duty is not only worrying, but gives us food for thought. If such incidents can happen to security officers who are expected to be armed, where does that leave the public? Also, we may well ask, if the white man is in trouble, what will be the fate of the house owner? Mbye Choi, QTV News.
Very unfortunate situation there. We wish the police officer affected a speedy recovery. Now, the new Secretary General to Cabinet, Auditor General and Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Public Service, on Tuesday took the oaths of office as they assumed their respective offices. As Alusisa reports, the event was presided over by President Barrow at the State House in Banjul.
The appointment of Aliu Njai as the new Secretary to Cabinet, Modu Sise as Auditor General, and Aliu Loom as Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Public Service by President Barrow follows the recommendation of the Public Service Commission. As required by law, the trio took the prescribed oaths of office, allegiance and secrecy administered by Mod KCC, Chief of Staff, Office of the President.
I, Aliu Njai, do swear that I will execute the functions of the Office of the Secretary of the Cabinet without fear or favor, affection or ill will, according to the Constitution and other laws of the Gambia. So help me God.
I, Modu Sise, having been appointed Auditor General, do swear I will not directly or indirectly reveal such matters as may be committed to my secrecy. So help me God.
I, Aliu Lum, having been appointed as Permanent Secretary, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Republic of the Gambia, according to law. So help me God.
Aliu Njai, the new Secretary to Cabinet, was the Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Environment. He replaces long-serving Secretary to Cabinet Ibrahim Assise, who is now redeployed as head of the Gambia's mission in Moscow, Russia. Aliu Njai, the new Secretary to Cabinet, on behalf of the sworn-in officials, thanked and commended the President for the trust and confidence in appointing them to serve in their various capacities. Njai, who had previously served at the Gambia's mission in London, promised their readiness to meet the expectations of the Gambian people.
We are determined and humbly wish to accept the challenges ahead. Your Excellency and government has astutely guided the government and the people of the Gambia to the land of hope, and we also want to build on those guidelines for the betterment of our people. Your Excellency have opened the opportunities and given us the privilege. We are deeply honored. We are aware that we have to deliver every day, step by step, program by program, to meet the expectations. I wish to assure Your Excellency and the Cabinet Ministers that we, people of the Gambia, we will work diligently to materialize our responsibilities. We are the National Development Plan. This is because we value what Your Excellency and the government stand for. That is the future. We have to work together. We understand we have to work together transparently, flexibly, and honestly, because every single progress leads to many progresses, and we have to be there to facilitate that.
The President hopes the new appointees will build on the gains of their predecessors and turn the challenges into opportunities at their respective offices for the development of the country. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliu Sise.
Well, congratulations to them. From that, we'll just now go for a short commercial break, and when we return, we have some more local news stories for you, as well as international. Don't go anywhere.
amna lu manqué de lu manqué armanti mayonnaise so amul duma lek ma ngi ñëw man ma jégi armanti noko gisé safna neexna ndax mom ci armanti mayonnaise ak sauce boko di def rek da fay neex ni la armanti mayonnaise ren la am 28 years ta caf ka mosul ci tegon tankam fala ko tek ba tay man mak armanti dama ko min yalla dafa dogal armanti dafa don sama xali yeen jégi rew mi neena len ñaar fukki at ak juroom ñett du fukki at ak juroom ñett de du ay fodde mala ñu wax li duggu len ci bepp marché bepp supermarket bepp boutique ci biir rew mi amna 500 ml 1000 ml ak 5 kg li ci gëna té dakh moy def len indil 25 gram moy ciati mayonnaise bi amna margarine bota amna bota ice am corned beef bu yap ak bu ginar amna sardine ak banana milk armanti dal dafa compléter lepp ngir noppal jéeg yi seen bir waay armanti product the good quality food
Your favorite QCell service has gotten bigger. Kanta. Now you can loan bigger credit amounts to make life easier for you. Loan $75C and $100C and pay later. Yes, you heard me right. Get credit loan from $10C to $100C using Kanta by dialing *393#. Anytime you run out of credit, whether you want to buy Q-Power, browse the internet, make urgent calls, or send SMS. Kanta is the service for you. Dial *393# and choose the loan amount of your choice with no hassle. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunyabus, the pioneers of mobile loan service in the Gambia. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV News, and I am Jenna Bosonko. Now, the Public Utility Regulatory Authority, PURA, convened a day forum on Tuesday with its regulated service providers to review critical issues relating to compliance and their impacts, and to devise alternative solutions for improved compliance in regulated sectors in the Gambia. Aliou Cisse has more.
The Public Utility Regulatory Authority said the Regulatory Compliance Forum, which is the authority's first event with stakeholders in 2023, is to explore and create a venue for progressive discussions on the regulatory environment and PURA's core purpose. Yusufa M. Job, Director General of PURA, says the forum will make his office understand the issues curtailing services and areas that providers need improve upon. He informs the forum that his office's role is to create an environment where business thrive and the public is satisfied.
As a regulator, we constantly hear the public outcry over basic services that are either seemingly below standard or too expensive. However, it is always fair to also give the devil its due by hearing from the providers themselves why such services are either below par or are expensive. And as the arbiter who ensures equity and fairness, we need to hear both parties, as well as the government as well, who might have other important aims to achieve other than just service delivery. Something better could be done. So we constantly need to strive to improve the environment that is conducive for both the government, the private sector, as well as the public in general.
Aliou M. Ngom, Chairman of the Board of Directors at PURA, described the forum as timely and relevant in view of the need to take stock of service performance, gains and challenges to enhance quality, reliable and affordable service delivery.
I'm convinced beyond doubt that this vital initiative will accord the regulator and its stakeholders the opportunity to critically examine the impacts of regulated services. The interaction will also inform and support sound policies and the development ambition of the Gambia, as we all know that the country's development trajectory is hugely reliant upon the performance and output of sectors we regulate. Ladies and gentlemen, the laws governing the operations of utility service providers are promulgated for a purpose. This makes it a necessity to promote and protect the merits of law for common good of society.
Submissions from the forum will be used to guide PURA's policy decision towards ensuring efficient service delivery by building on the gains and seeking solutions to the challenges for sustainable growth. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cisse.
Now, Mbye Kunda Japanteh Enterprise opened a new shopping mall in Brikama on Sunday. The one-stop shopping center will create employment and boost business and revenue for the local council. Here's my report. This magnificent shopping mall consists of 70 shops, a mosque, restaurant and multiple toilets. Mustafa Mbye is the proprietor of Mbye Kunda Japanteh Enterprise. He was a migrant returnee in the 80s and got into business to inspire others. Mr. Mbye had 2 shops in Brikama, and because of the challenges he faced in getting a place to rent, he decided to build a shopping mall to create a one-stop shopping center and conducive business environment, not only for himself, but also for other business owners.
The place used to be a cinema hall. I inquired about it, and I was told it was for sale. So I bought it and built the mall because there is limited space in Brikama, and people struggled to acquire space. So I know how it feels.
Businesses such as this one are always welcomed by councils because they boost their revenue. Shirifo Sonko, the chairman of the Brikama Area Council, urges tenants to pay their dues punctually.
And business cannot go without paying tax. Tax is part of our religion. Either a Christian or a Muslim, we have to be tax compliant. I'm advising any other person who may be lucky to have a shop to do business here, you be tax compliant as Mustafa Mbye himself is tax compliant. Let's pay our dues on time and in the right form. Let us not try to negotiate with the tax collectors. There are tariffs, there are amounts of what we should pay. We don't have to do bargaining. We don't have to negotiate those prices or those amounts.
Dauda A. Jallo, the Minister of Justice, attended the event as a family friend of Mr. Mbye. This was what he said about his friend.
I have known Mustafa for several years now. He is a great, hard-working Gambian. He is very patriotic. And I have known him also to be involved in a lot of philanthropic activities, different from business activities. So he's somebody who, the profit that he is making from his business, he is sharing it socially with the communities where the need arises.
Babu Saidi is one of the tenants in this mall. He counts himself lucky for being one of the tenants.
I'm Victor. I'm content to be development Brikama.
I am from Brikama, and the mall is built right opposite my other shop. I decided to rent one of the spaces. Mustafa Mbye is a good man. Currently, I am not financially strong, but with his support, I am able to get one of the shops. I am calling on my fellow tenants to take good care of the shops.
The Mbye Kunda Japanteh Enterprise shopping mall is at a strategic junction near the Brikama Youth Center. It will serve the people of Brikama and residents of the neighboring villages who come here to shop. The mall's owner, Mustafa Mbye, says efforts are underway to secure the mall against damage. Reporting for QTV News, I am Jenna Bosonko. Magnificent. Now let's take a look at news beyond our borders. Human Rights Watch has accused both UK and US of crimes against humanity for forced expulsion in the 1960s and 1970s of the residents of the Chagos Archipelago. That's Lena Igwenyiba has more.
Human Rights Watch accused the British and American governments after British troops forced a group of islanders to return to the Chagos Archipelago to make way for an American military base on the remote island of Diego Garcia in the Indian Ocean. The accusations in a 106-page report issued on Wednesday, February 15, 2023 by the New York-based group come as the British government is attempting to negotiate a settlement with Mauritius over the future of the islands, after losing 2 court cases in international tribunals over the legality of their occupation.
4 years ago, the High Court delivered one of the most damning indictments of a British government. It said the secret expulsion of the Chagos Islanders was wrong. That judgment must be upheld, and the people of a group of beautiful, once peaceful islands must be helped to go home and compensated fully and without delay for their suffering.
The UK's Foreign Office has responded by repeating its deep regret about how people were removed from the islands, but stressed that we categorically reject the characterization of events as crimes against humanity. Human Rights Watch has called on the UK and the US to provide financial compensation to Chagosians of every generation for crimes committed against them and guarantee that similar crimes will not happen again. They also urge Mauritius to ensure that Chagosians can return to the islands. Neither the British, US or Mauritian governments have responded. Reporting for QTV News, I am Lena Igwenyiba.
Still on news beyond our borders, a Russian military frigate docks in South Africa ahead of joint military drills with South African and Chinese navies. Given the imminent anniversary of the ongoing Russia-Ukraine conflict, South Africa's participation has drawn more criticism. Mohamed Balde tells us more.
A Russian warship has docked in South Africa ahead of joint military drills with China and South Africa in an operation dubbed Moshi, which translates as smoke in Swahili. The exercise marks the first time that Russian military drills will include the Admiral Koshkov warship carrying Zircon hypersonic missiles, which were first tested in late 2021. The missiles are reported to have a range of up to 900 kilometers and, according to Russian President Vladimir Putin, have no equivalent. The move has drawn sharp criticism from Western nations, especially as the exercise, scheduled for the periods between the 17th and 24th of February, would coincide with the one-year anniversary of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The exercise has also drawn criticism from domestic actors such as the Democratic Alliance, South Africa's main opposition party, which claims that by hosting the exercise, Pretoria has chosen sides. In a statement to the press, Cobus Murray, a member of the Democratic Alliance and the party's shadow minister of Defense and Military Affairs, has also denounced the joint drills, raising concerns that the warship's potential involvement in the conflict in Ukraine may make South Africa complicit in any war crimes to be levied against Russia. Responding to the criticism, South Africa's Foreign Minister Naledi Pandor stated that the exercise was part of a normal practice between friends, meanwhile maintaining South Africa's neutral position over the war in Ukraine. According to the South African military, more than 350 of its members are expected to take part in the exercise, with an aim of sharing operational skills and knowledge with the Russian and Chinese naval forces. The South African Armed Forces also said last week that the exercise was a means to strengthen the already flourishing relations between the three nations. For Moscow, it may serve as an indication to Western powers that they are not as isolated as the world may think. And for China, a projection of power and a tallying up of its